History loves to paint a powerful woman as a villain. If you believe the whispers, Catherine the Great was a voracious predator, a Messalina of the North, who devoured lovers like expensive chocolates and discarded them just as easily. They want you to see a scandalous usurper who stole a throne that wasn't hers. But darling, if you look past the gilded rumors and the scandalous pamphlets, you don't find a monster. You find a lonely, terrifyingly brilliant girl trapped in a frozen cage. Catherine didn't use men just for pleasure. She used them for survival. In a world designed by men, she realized that romance was the only weapon they wouldn't check at the door. To become the most powerful woman on Earth, she had to master the art of the forbidden. Picture it. A teenage German princess, Sophie, that was her name then, shipped off across the unforgiving snow to Russia. She arrived with nothing but a meager wardrobe and a desperate need to be loved. They renamed her Catherine, stripped away her past, and draped her in heavy brocades and diamonds that felt colder than the ice outside the palace walls. She was entering a world of unimaginable luxury, yes. The air in the winter palace smelled of beeswax, ancient furs, and expensive French perfume. But it was a golden tomb. Her intended prize was Grand Duke Peter, and oh, what a disaster he was. Peter was a man-child, obsessed with playing toy soldiers in bed and training packs of dogs indoors. He was cruel, childish, and utterly uninterested in his brilliant young bride. For years, Catherine remained untouched, isolated in immense, drafty apartments. She wasn't a wife. She was a ghost haunting the corridors of power. She would lie awake under canopies of heavy damask, listening to the silence, realizing she was completely alone in a foreign land. So, what does a neglected future empress do when her husband ignores her? She sharpens her claws. While Peter played with toys, Catherine read. She devoured philosophy, history, law. She taught herself Russian. She realized something dangerous. She was smarter than every man currently ruling her. She began to charm the court. She used her wit like fine jewelry, dazzling everyone she met. She was building an armor of charm, waiting for her moment. The turning point wasn't subtle. It was life or death. When the old empress died, Peter took the throne. His first order of business? To get rid of Catherine. He publicly insulted her at state dinners and threatened to lock her away in a distant convent forever. The cage door was closing. Catherine realized she could either be a victim or she could be an empress. But a woman couldn't just seize the crown. She needed muscle. She needed loyalty. She needed the army. Enter Grigory Orlov. He was her first great political romance, a dashing, reckless guardsman with shoulders broad enough to carry a revolution. He and his 4 brothers controlled the regiments in the capital. Their affair was electric. It was a forbidden collision of genuine passion and absolute political necessity happening right underneath the nose of her clueless husband. In stolen moments, in secret corridors, amidst the scent of danger and musk, they planned treason. The night of the coup was high theater. Catherine didn't hide in the palace. She dressed herself in the uniform of a soldier, a man's uniform, borrowed from a god. She rode out on a white horse to meet the Imperial guards at dawn. She didn't demand their loyalty. She seduced them with her courage. She looked them in the eye, a vulnerable woman facing an army, and asked them to protect her from a tyrant. The sight of this beautiful, brave woman in uniform was too much. The army fell to its knees. Peter crumbled instantly. He abdicated without a fight. A week later, he died under mysterious circumstances while under guard by the Orlov brothers. A hemorrhoidal colic, the official report said. We can read between the lines, darling. The scandal echoed across Europe. A wife dethroning her husband? Unheard of. But the silence was broken by the sound of Catherine placing the imperial crown upon her own head. This is where the whispers became shouts. Now that she was Empress in her own right, Catherine didn't remarry. Why would she share the power she had almost died for? Instead, she created a system. Yes, she had many lovers over her long reign. The rumors say hundreds. The truth is probably around 12 serious relationships. But darling, kings had kept mistresses for centuries without anyone batting an eyelash. When a queen does it, suddenly it's a moral crisis. Catherine turned romance into a department of state. Her favorites weren't just pretty faces, they were generals, advisors, diplomats. And then there was Potemkin, the love of her life. He was a towering, wild, one-eyed genius. He wasn't classically handsome, but he possessed an energy that matched her own. They were soulmates. They exchanged letters dripping with raw passion and high-level political strategy in the same paragraph. They were a volatile, brilliant power couple. He expanded Russia's borders to the south. She managed the empire from the north. Some say they secretly married. We'll never know for sure. But we do know that even after their physical affair ended, he remained the second most powerful person in Russia until the day he died. Under her rule, Russia entered a golden age. She built the Hermitage and filled it with the world's greatest art. She corresponded with philosophers, she dripped in pearls, and commanded respect from every monarch in Europe. She had transformed from the shivering German girl into the North Star. But the tragedy of Catherine isn't a bloody ending. It's slower. It's quieter. It's the realization that the higher she rose, the lonelier the view became. When Potemkin died on a dusty roadside far from home, something in Catherine broke forever. The Iron Empress was reduced to a sobbing wreck, fainting 3 times at his funeral. She had the world, but she had lost the only person who truly understood the weight of her crown. Her final years were filled with younger and younger lovers, handsome officers in their 20s, while she was in her 60s. It was a gilded desperation, a futile attempt to recapture the passion and the feeling of being desired. She died possessing everything a human could want: absolute power, unimaginable wealth, eternal fame. Everything, perhaps, except genuine, uncomplicated love that didn't want something in return. And that, my dear, is the real scandal.